This webinar is a demonstration of family property, a new form of legal tech available to assist mediators and family lawyers. Our guests are Fiona and Tim Kirkman, the developers of Family Property.
I'd like to acknowledge the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples of Australia as traditional custodians and pay respect to elders past, present and emerging.
Thank you very much, Joanne, and hello, fellow mediators, FDRPs. I'm Fiona Kirkman, and I am an accredited specialist in family law, nationally accredited mediator and FDRP. I've been in the family law world for over 15 years now, and I have my own mediation practice, Kirkman Family Law, that does exclusively resolution without court. Tim here, I'll let you introduce yourself.
Yeah, my name's Tim Kirkman, and I'm a technologist. My role in family property is, I guess you could say, the Chief Product Officer. So I spearhead the developments and the roadmap of the product and take all the good feedback and are constantly working at making it the best possible product that we can. So my background is I've worked across a variety of different areas, from e-commerce, e-learning, mobile apps, cloud computing. So yeah, my experience really comes from building products just like family property.
And so family property came out of the problems that we saw in conducting a family property matter, that it was error prone, manual, unstructured, time consuming, and can be quite complex. And we saw that there must be a better way, and working together as a legal and technology team, how can we address those problems in conducting a property settlement matter? So what we, together with Professor Patrick Parkinson, who is an expert in family law and also a mediator and arbitrator, we came together and came up with the idea for family property, which really looked at providing a straightforward or accurate way of doing property settlement. So auto-calculating the figures for financial matters, an automated approach, a structured approach, and a simplified approach to doing property settlement matters. Therefore, saving you time and putting your focus as mediators on outcomes and the clients and their negotiations instead of the admin and having to do the calculations. So we really believe that the family property brings values in that area. So if you could just let us know if you can see the presentation. Won't be a second. Sorry, we'll just make sure we're sharing here. Presentation. Can everyone see that?
Yep.
So,
Sorry, we're on mute. So yeah.
Yes, I can.
okay, so we've just introduced ourselves, Fiona and Tim Kirkman, a couple in legal technology. I have a 15 years background in family law, mediator, FDRP, and Tim is the technologist. Family property came out of family property mediation being error-prone, manual, unstructured, time-consuming, and can be complex. And if everyone who's just come in, if you could put your speakers on mute, please. And so we thought, what can we do to provide an end-to-end solution? And what family property aims to do is to provide accuracy with the auto calculation of the figures, an automated approach from the front end, the middle and the back end of a property settlement matter, a structured approach that guides you on what documents need to be disclosed, what tasks should be created, what are the relevant considerations when looking at the asset pool, the contributions, the future needs factors, and a simplified approach to understand what the steps are involved in a property settlement mediation and how to best approach it and bring it all into one simplified platform. So the family property solution, as I said, is an end-to-end unique solution that manages all aspects of doing a property settlement mediation. It does the front end in that it handles client inquiries from your website through a customized chatbot, if you wish. It has a comprehensive client intake questionnaire, which clients can complete themselves. And it has a document portal where parties can upload securely information and documents relevant to the property settlement mediation. In the middle section of property mediation, it helps with the balance sheet and proposals. It has a very powerful auto-calculated and interactive balance sheet, which we'll demonstrate shortly, where you can expertly model proposals and auto-calculate the figures, not just in dollars, but in percentages, saving you much needed time. And lastly, in the back end, it has a document automation platform where you can do balance sheets, proposals, both in Word and Excel spreadsheets, and then the property settlement agreement, heads of agreement, and even an application for consent orders to assist your clients so that that is auto-populated and then they can take that to lawyers. So what we're going to do now is take you through a demo of family property and really drill down into what it can do. Please feel free to ask questions as you go, and we can come back if you want us to drill down into any particular element. But the aim is to really give you an overview of how family property works, and then we can answer your questions at the end. Any questions so far? Everyone can see the presentation? Thank you.
Great.
Okay. Tim's going to do a demo now of family property.
Okay, thank you very much, Fiona. Just give me one moment while I set up my screen here. Can you all see my web browser there? It should say My Matters. Can you see that on the screen share? Yep, fantastic. Okay. So as Fiona commented, family property is designed to be an end-to-end online system, so something that you can use. It's cloud-based, meaning that all you need is an internet connection and a laptop or a tablet, and you can use family property to run your matters. There are a few different components that make up family property. I call it a bit like a utility belt, so you can pull out the right tool at the right time depending on what stage in the matter life cycle that you're at. But the first piece of family property that you can choose to use is a chatbot. And so just really quickly, what is a chatbot? It's an automated tool that you can use. You can put it on your website, very much like live chat, that can engage with your visitors as they arrive at your law firm's website, and can actually start that engagement process. The intention really is just to automate that, kind of handling of inquiries. And every conversation that is completed in using the family property chatbot can then automatically set up a matter for you, so saving a bit of time there in taking it through to the next process. So I'll really quickly just show you what that looks like now. So you can get a feel for how that works. The first part is the conversation designer, which you can see on my screen here. And this is effectively a script. This is the exact script that my chatbot is going to follow through. It's going to say this first item, then it's going to say this, then it's going to present an option for me to click a button. It's going to ask for my name, then it's going to ask what my inquiry is related to, all the way down to the very bottom where it hits the save and finish point, which is going to indicate that the conversation is completed. So you've got full control over this. You can ask your own questions. You can put in your own language and your own words. But just to quickly show you what it looks like, and again, this would actually be running on your website, maybe on your homepage, maybe when somebody clicks an Inquire Now button that you might have. But I'll just show you what it looks like. So if I click the test button, you'll see that it's actually launching here within Family Property, so I can test it and give it a go before I put it on my website. But you can put your own logo and information text, and it will say, hi, welcome to our law firm. Our business hours are 9 to 5, Monday to Friday. We're located in Sydney, New South Wales, and that would link off to a Google map. And you can also reach us on here. I'm an automated assistant. So I can then say, that sounds good. I'd like some help, so I'm ready. Then it's asking me to put in my full name. So I'll put that in there. Nice to meet you, Tim. What is your inquiry related to? So I might say my family law matter or just a general inquiry, which is a great replacement just for your general contact form. But if I say my family law matter, it's then going to say, I just need to ask 4 standard questions in related to your current situation so that we can make our response as helpful as possible. So what would best describe your current relationship status? And I can now choose to, maybe I'm separated but still married, divorced, perhaps still married. So I can select that. And then it's going to ask me a few more questions. For instance, are there any parenting issues? This might be the case if there's any children that live with me that are under 18. So I might say yes. Are there any financial issues, such as assets that we might need to consider? Yes. So you've got full control over this conversation. As you can see, you can ask people to respond by typing in text responses, either using the keyboard or on their phone. Which I'm doing right now, or they can click on buttons, or they can select options from a list. And then asking for my email address, which I'll put in, and contact number. Okay, so just to give you an idea, that's the kind of conversation that you can create using the chatbot. It's an automated way of just starting to handle inquiries and then having these automatically come through as a matter in Family Property. So let's spend a little bit of time now exploring Family Property and what it is as a legal technology solution. So if I go back to My Matters, when you first log into Family Property, this is the screen that you'll see, and I can see a few matters that I've already created here. You can also, I've got some archived ones as well, which are hidden. But in order to create a matter, I just click on this big Create a Matter button. And then you've got 2 options. So you can create a matter as a single party representative, which is really handy if you're, for instance, a solicitor and you are representing one party. You'd start in the single party and you would put in your client's details there. But if you are a neutral representative as a mediator, you can select both parties and then you have an opportunity to put in both parties' details. And that means you'll have full access to both sides and you'll be able to manage the matter through both independently and collaboratively with both parties. So I would just put in both parties' names. And then you've got an opportunity on how you actually want to start the matter. So Family Property does come with an online intake questionnaire, which I'll show you in a moment, which is just a 10-step form-based process, which is a great way of getting all the information that you need up front. It then steps into a client portal that will make recommendations around what documents should be uploaded. So that's the questionnaire. You can start with that if you like, if you want to get all the information. You can also, alternatively, you can invite your client, each individual client on both sides, to complete the questionnaire too. So if this is something that they want to be involved in, or if you want to save some time and get them to do it in their own space and time, you can do that just by clicking yes and putting in their email address. And they'll receive an email with a link inviting them to complete the questionnaire online. The other option is that you can launch straight into the Matter dashboard. And now the Matter dashboard is a single screen which brings together your entire view of the matter. It's got an interactive balance sheet. It's got all the documents that you can generate and everything like that. And so I'll take you through a tour of what that looks like as well. So this is where you create a matter, you put in the details and just click save and your matter will be created. So I'll show you quickly here what the intake questionnaire looks like. So I've just clicked on a matter. You can put your own firm's logo up the top here as well, so you can fully brand it. And it's just introducing the process, and I can click Launch Questionnaire. Now, a few comments on the questionnaire. First of all, it has been designed in easy to understand language that has been designed with your clients in mind. So they should be able to work through these 10 steps, really without assistance, and be able to answer all the questions that they're asked. It'll also save you progress. So as you work your way through, it'll continuously save all the details that you're putting, so you can come back over a period of time and complete this, because you might not have all of this information up front. So they're just a few kind of key important details to mention about this. And it's broken into 10 steps. So you can see it's very much form-based. It will also automatically adapt the wording too, depending on who's filling it in. So if I'm filling it in on behalf of my client, it's going to talk to me as a third party, as compared to if you invite the client and they are completing it, it will actually talk to them as an individual. So the first step is basic personal details. So that's dates of birth and things like that. The second step is on relationship details. So they're the key dates around when they began living together, what their current relationship status is, date of marriage, date of separation, date of divorce if they were divorced. So you can put those in there. Step 3 is about your children. So you can put any detail in any children here, their dates of birth and gender and so on and so forth from current relationships or potentially previous relationships. Step 4 is on current living arrangements. So where your client may be living now, where children may be living. So you've got things like majority time, equal share part of the time with one party, with the other party. And then we'll ask questions around child support and maintenance, whether it's been paid or received and how much, an opportunity to put that in. Step 5 is income. So you can detail as many sources of income as need be here. Just click add and add more items. And you can also define if there's income being drawn from other sources, for instance, superannuation. You can also put in your expenses. And these are just your key big expenses so you can get an understanding of what their typical outgoings look like. So things like mortgage repayments and rent and vehicle insurance and things like that. Step 6 is a big one. It's on assets and super. So it covers things like the family, home and real estate, household contents, bank accounts, vehicles, investments, for instance, shares and things like that. Any business interests, and you can add as many of them as you like. Any interest in a role or a trust, and it will kind of ascertain the details around their role and responsibility in those trusts, and any other assets and investments. And then down the bottom, you've got opportunity to put in super and any assets that may have been recently disposed of as well. So it's a very detailed section, but gives you a good opportunity to capture all that information that you need. Step 7 is what is owed. So that's things like mortgages and credit card debts and tax debts and other loans. Step 8 is an opportunity to provide a bit of detail on the other party's situation, assets, debts, and super as you may know them or your client may know them. Step 9 is contributions. So broken into those 3 stages, which is contributions at commencement, while living together, and since separation. And it does go into detail in those 3 stages around the key financial and non-financial contributions. And lastly, step 10 is your future needs. So you can detail any key factors around their future needs. So once you've done those 10 steps, you can see that it will cover a lot of what you need to get started with your matter. What it will then do is give you this screen here. So I'm just jumping in and out because this is kind of like a cooking show. Here's one I prepared earlier. What it will do is it will go and pull out all of the key things that you've defined in the questionnaire: assets, liabilities, bank accounts, sources of income, anything that should require a document for disclosure and information on it. And what it will do is it will list them on this screen and start making recommendations around the kind of documents that are needed. So for instance, for a bank account here, it's recommending that I upload a bank balance summary statement and a bank account statement for the last 12 months. For this business interest, it's recommending a business activity statement for the last 12 months, financial statements for the past 3 years, and trust deeds. And so what I can do here is click attachments, and I can start uploading attachments, one or multiple, against each of these items that have been identified. And as I complete one of these tasks, I can then tick them off. So it gives you a nicely structured way, or your client, of course, if they're completing this, a nice structured way of working through top to bottom, uploading all the documents that are required. And automatically, as you're going, it will categorize them against the right item, the right entity. So this is a great way of then capturing all of those documents all online. So I can work my way through here. You can see where I've made attachments, ticking these off and uploading as they go. And once I'm done, I can click finish. And of course, I can come back here as well and take multiple sessions if required to upload documents against here. So this is the intake questionnaire. So when you set up a matter and choose to do the intake questionnaire, this is those 10-step processes, and this screen is part of that experience. And of course, you can do it or your client can do it. But then what happens is once you've done that is you then have the opportunity to take it further and use the okay, sorry, sure. Here we go. You then have an opportunity to then take the matter through into the dashboard and then start using all the functionality that you've got in there. So what you've got as a mediator is you've got the option to switch between both parties. So you can do that quite seamlessly. You also have quite a unique feature, which is a neutral balance sheet. And I'll show you that in a little while too. So I'm going to go into Flynn's side of the matter right now. And I'll show you around the matter dashboard. So this is what it looks like. And I'll scroll down here and you'll see that it's got 3 tabs up the top here. So front and center is the balance sheet. And I'll spend a bit more time on this, but you've got your assets and liabilities and super funds. You've got an outcome, so it's all automatically auto-calculating for you. You can also add in any financial resources and disposed assets in here as well. And all of this will have been pre-populated. If I've used the questionnaire, it will be pre-populated from the questionnaire. All of that information that it collected will automatically go into the right sections here in this dashboard. So I will come back to the balance sheets, but this next tab is personal details. And so here you can see those 4 steps in the questionnaire have been populated into my dashboard here. So I've got personal details about your relationship, about your children, current living arrangements, income and expenses. And it's really easy to edit. I mean, I can just click on here. This comes out on the side and I can start making changes or continue to populate out my matter as I get more information, on the matter. It's also worth mentioning that you can also attach documents to any of these panels. They're all interactive. So I can see a little 1 here next to personal details. So if I click in on this and go to attachments tab, I can see that Flynn's birth certificate has been uploaded here. About your relationship, I can see there's a 2. So I can see that there's a citizenship certificate and a marriage certificate. And I can continue to update, and upload more documents. It's a full client portal against each and every one of these panels here. So that's the personal details. Then under considerations, you've got contributions and future needs. Again, pre-populated from the questionnaire if you use it. So I can see that there has been some monetary contributions here at the start of the relationship, again at the during of the relationship, and there's also been a contribution which was primary care of the children and homemaker during the relationship by Molly. And so you can start to build out your contributions view here as well. And then under future needs, I can click here and can continue to answer these questions and define what the future needs looks like as well. So I might just go back to the balance sheet now. So this is Flynn's working balance sheet. So this is party A, if you will. And you can see that we've got some assets, we've got some liabilities here and superannuation funds. It's really easy to build this out. So think of your working balance sheet as an Excel spreadsheet, if you will. So I could go add an asset, and I might choose to add a business interest, and I'm going to call it the family business. There we go. And I will just give it an indicative valuation and click save. There we go. So you can see it's added here. Now this is, I can drag and drop and rearrange the order as well. And it's also supports sub-balance sheets. So now that I've added the business interest, under who owns this asset, when I go to add a new asset or liability, you'll see that the family business is now an entity that can have assets and liabilities assigned to it, as well as the individuals. So I could say the family business, select a vehicle, and I'm going to add a delivery van under the family business and click save. And now it's automatically starting to build up my sub balance sheet here for the business interest to sign that delivery van under there. And it's doing all the auto calculations for me. So it makes it really quickly and easy to start building up and populating this balance sheet. But once you have populated your balance sheet, what you can do is you can then start to model proposals with it. And so how you do that is through these sliders that you see, and I'll explain how they work. So for instance, this family business that I've just owned is telling me here that I can propose something. So if I click on this, it's added a little slider. And so now what I can do is I can move it to the left, which indicates I want to transfer the ownership to Flynn. I can move it to the right, which is transfer the ownership to Molly, or somewhere in between is going to be an action of selling. And I can see there, you may not be able to see it on your screen share, but it's got an automatic calculation of, in percentage terms and also monetary terms, what that percentage split looks like. So I can easily, model here a 50-50, so somewhere in between, and it will then automatically keep all my calculations up to date. So I can quickly and easily both visually see exactly what we're proposing to do with every single item, visually down the columns here, and I can quickly and easily adjust these sliders to make changes to the proposal of any of the items here. Okay, now if you do want more control over the splits and the calculations here, you can do that too. So if I click in on CBA shares, for instance, it's $7,347 worth of shares. I can go to proposed action, and I've got fine grain control over here. So I can change it manually if I don't want to use the sliders. And I can also choose how I want the split calculated. So I could do it by monetary values and put in exact dollar figures here between the split between Flynn and Molly. But I could also do by percentages. And if I don't want to get out the calculator, I just want to figure out what 60-40 looks like, I can put that in there, and Family Property will then automatically, there you go, it's adjusted the slider. So it's automatically done the calculations there for me for that split. So I don't need to worry about it. Now, one thing that you often need to do is continue to upload documents. So you can see here that there's documents uploaded against a lot of these items. And again, if I click on the little attachment, I can review them. There's a red book valuation, for instance, which you'll also notice that there's a 1 and a 2 and a 2 and a 4. And what those are those recommendations that you saw before in the client portal view are now coming across. And so every single panel, every single item probably will have a few recommendations, and they look like this. So because this is an interest in a business, it's recommending that I upload the business activity statements, financial statements, trustees, and here's a task. I should probably perform an ASIC search using, say, InfoTrack to confirm the identity of the entity. And so it will actually provide you with guidance and structure throughout the dashboard, the kind of things that you should do, the kind of documents that you should have, and it makes it really easy. I can tick these off and click save. So it kind of gives me a running checklist behind each and every one of these items. But quite typically what you'll want to do is you might want to model with your client several different scenarios. So I might want to, for instance, model what a 50-50 split looks like. So how would I do that? So I can go up to settings here. And in this case, you'll actually see that I've actually got this one right here automatically doing a 60-40 split. But I could change this now to be a 50-50. So I'm going to enable a cash adjustment. And what this means is that the outcome's always going to be 50-50, and it's going to do the hard calculations for me. And I've got two options on how it's going to get there. Either, firstly, I can opt to have an additional line item added into my balance sheet, which is a cash adjustment line item of an asset and a liability, which is effectively a cash payment from one party to another to bring it up to my target of 50-50. Alternatively, I can choose to split an asset or a superannuation fund. So I could do a super split too if I wanted to adjust the proceeds of a particular asset or liability to bring me up to my target of 50-50. And so I might choose to do that actually with the family home. So 50-50, adjust the family home automatically for me. And so now what it's going to do is it's automatically going to calculate how close or far away we are from an interest point of view across all of my proposals. And you'll see here in my footer, it's 50-50. And what it's doing is it's automatically going to adjust the family home. So for instance, if I transfer the ownership of the business across to Flynn, it's automatically now adjusted the split of the family home. So if I move it again, so it's going to continuously update that slider there each time to effectively keep it in 50-50. So no matter what I do, it's always 50-50. And I can switch that on and off at any point in time. I can start with that, I can add it in at the end, and it will always apply those rules. Okay, so I've now modeled out a 50-50 split that I've discussed with my client, maybe in a breakout session. And so now what I want to do is I want to save that. And I actually now want to go and model what a 60-40 split looks like. I might want to model a few different scenarios and discuss that with my client. So I can do that as well. This supports multiple working balance sheets. So I'm going to go down to actions and I'm going to go manage working versions. And I'm going to go, I want to create a new version. And this is my 50-50 split. So I'm going to give it a title so I can identify it easily later on and go okay. So that's now saved my working balance sheet. And so what I might do now is go back into here and I'm sitting with my client and I want to model what a 60-40 looks like. This time not adjusting the family home. I just want to add an additional cash adjustment line item. So I'm going to click save on that now and it will automatically adjust my balance sheet for me. Bringing it up, so there we go, 60-40, and you can see that there's now a payment from Flynn to Molly required in order to bring it to 60-40. And so now I can go manage working versions again, and 60-40 split using cash, go okay. And so now I've got a few different working versions, and I can switch between them quickly and easily. So what was that 50-50 again? So now it's loaded this one back in. So I can continue to model proposals, and I can continue to jump between them and review them with my client. Now, when you're ready to potentially put forward what you see in your working balance sheet as, let's say, a formal offer, it's quite simple to do that in Family Property 2. I just go back to actions, and it's called what you call a publishing. So effectively, you're going to publish the information. So I just click publish. I can give it a title. It might be today's date, for instance. And I can also, just type in some free text here, so some notes. So this might be some terms and parameters around this proposal. It might be that the following things need to happen to the family home, to have this proposal be in effect. So if there's any kind of terms or parameters, I can document them here, and then they will automatically be included and displayed on the screen, but also then included in the documentation that can get drafted for you later on. And then I just click submit. And what that will do is it will save my working balance sheet as my formal balance sheet, which I can then compare. So what you can do now is I've gone and populated Flynn's working balance sheet. What I can do now is switch over. Now I'm sitting with Molly, and I can do exactly the same thing with Molly. She has her own dashboard here with personal details and considerations. Molly's working balance sheet. I can model scenarios with her as well. And then when I'm ready, I can click publish proposal, just to kind of formalize this working balance sheet into a formal proposal there as well. Now, what I can do at any one point in time, even though I'm currently working with Molly, is I can go back and have a look at what did Flynn's last published balance sheet look like. Okay, that's what it looked like. I can go back to what Molly's last balance sheet looked like. I can compare the two here as well. So what this does is this now overlays all the information together. It's going to go green and red where there's an agreement. So we can see that we agree across the board on the valuation, but currently we don't agree on some of the actions or the split that should be. Some of them we do, some of them we don't. And as you hover over them, it will describe to you where you're in agreement, or if you're in disagreement, why are you in disagreement? Maybe it's the valuation, maybe it's the split. So I can quickly and easily use this comparative function here to highlight the differences. So what I will do now is go into the neutral balance sheet. So the neutral balance sheet is quite a unique screen that brings together both of those working balance sheets that you've just seen and brings them together into one single balance sheet for you. So here it is. Looks exactly the same, but what you've got is you've got Flynn's line up the top, Molly's line underneath, and it's split up the values into columns, and it's got the sliders one under each other. And it's automatically going red and green where we agree and disagree. So I can run my eye down here and see that we disagree on the value of the family home. We agree on the value of the Mitsubishi Outlander. And we can see by the sliders how close or how far apart we are in terms of what both sides propose to do with each item. And this is fully interactive, so I can slide these and move these and get them as I'm working through, maybe in a collaborative environment, with both parties. There you go. So these sliders are now going to green to indicate that they're now in agreement, and it will automatically keep all the calculations and totals up to date. Using the neutral balance sheet as well, you can add items. So this is you can actually start your matter using this neutral view and populate both working balance sheets from this single unified view if you like. And what you can also do from here too is under balance sheets is that you can actually compare different balance sheets. So for instance, I might be sitting with Flynn, and I want to compare Flynn's current working balance sheet against Molly's last published one. So if I want to do that, I can flick that over, and now that's going to show Molly's last formal position, if you will, against Flynn's working one. So I can continue to model Flynn's items here with Flynn, comparing it against Molly's last formal position. And then I can compare their both last formal positions, published versus published, and then, of course, go back to working. So you've got a lot of flexibility on how you kind of bring the information together into this neutral balance sheet. You can also make it go full screen. So if you are working on a big screen and you want to make the most of the real estate, you can do that too, and then go back to full matter dashboard when you're ready. And then finally, down the bottom here, the outcome box is split into two. All the calculations are done for me there as well in terms of total asset pool and then outcome in terms of monetary and percentage splits too. So once you've worked through the balance sheets and both sides, you then have full access to some document automation, which will save you a lot of time. And so you can click reports, and you'll see the library that we've got here. So the first one is that you've got your balance sheets. Now you can generate this in Word format or Excel format. Let me open up the Word format of this one, and I'll show you that. You can also choose to use your last published balance sheets or your current working balance sheet. So you've got a choice. You can have these documents drafted in using either of those two balance sheets. So I'll show you what a few of these look like just quickly. So here is the balance sheet. I'm just going to drag it onto my screen. I hope you can see that there. There we go. So you've got your assets and liability and super, and it's all automatically calculated there for you. You've got your, sorry? Okay. You've got your spreadsheet version here. I'll just make that a bit bigger so you can see. So the balance sheet in spreadsheet, and it comes with all the calculations. So I can make quick changes here in the spreadsheet to see how that might affect the bottom line. So that's the spreadsheet version of the balance sheet. You then have proposal documents that are available in Word format and also Excel spreadsheet as well. And I'll show you these two. There we go. Okay. So the proposal document in Word format has Flynn's proposal in a table up the top here, value and proposed splits for all of the items, and then Molly's proposal underneath, deriving from those two balance sheets I showed you earlier on, although calculated. And then underneath it will then start to draft for you what the parties currently agreed to. So we do agree on the action to be taken with the 2008 Toyota Camry and the CBA shares and the mortgage. So you can see there that it will list that out for you. But it will also then document for you what the parties do not agree on. And so we can see that we don't agree currently on the action to be taken with the family home or the Mitsubishi Outlander or the bank accounts or the business interests. We'll actually document them line by line and describe where the differences are. So that's the proposal document. You can also get that in spreadsheet format as well. You then have a bunch of agreements. So you can draft a heads of agreement document, which looks like this. Okay, so financial effect of the agreement is put together in a table. So this is everything that we agree on. And then it will also then document it, so the summary of agreements, each and every point on what you agree, value and action to be taken is defined there. And then it will then also draft for you the application for consent orders and consent orders form. Now with the application for consent orders, it will populate the following parts, so A, B, D, H and I. And I'll also quickly show you the consent order form too. So the application for consent is in Word format. You can get in here and make amendments to it, unlike the PDF version. But just to quickly show you some of the key points where this has been filled in. So the personal details, key dates from the relationships, all of the information that you've seen on the dashboard has gone into this document. It's about the children, so their names and dates of birth and things have gone in there. Sorry, I know I'm scrolling. I'm just trying to get down to some interesting things. Income and child support will have gone into this section if it's been defined. So property section's been filled out here. I can see the businesses and the vehicles and the bank accounts and the share interest in each of them. Same with the liabilities. So here's the mortgage has gone in, and then all the auto calculations will have gone in and all the subtotals, and then total net worth will have been filled in. Disposed assets, resources will also be populated in the key sections in this document too. Financial resources will go into here, 67. Proposed division. And then any contributions, so financial and non-financial, will go into sections 69, 70, 71, and 72 will have any details of any future needs that might have been documented. And then part I, an important one, will then roll up all of those totals for you into these key sections and then put in the values there into this document as well. And then the total will be put in. So I just wanted to show you the sections of this document that it automatically calculates and populates for you. And then finally, the consent orders document itself fills in the key names and details like that. You can see Flynn and Molly there. And then by consent it is ordered, and so it's taken the contents of those that drafting that you see from the heads of agreement has been moved into here. Again, being a Word document, you can use this as a starting point and then continue to draft it. But this saves a lot of time because you can literally go from a balance sheet straight into these documents without having to then fire up Word and start the drafting process from scratch. So it seamlessly ties that flow together for you. Just finally as well, I might flick back to one party's side. You will have noticed that we have been uploading attachments as well this whole time against both sides. I can click attachments here, and I get a full list of all the attachments, regardless of what they were attached against. And I can search this for, valuations, for instance, valuations, and we'll filter that list. I can click in on any of these items that will bring out exactly what it was attached to. So I can drill into those details as well, jump between the document and what they were attached to. I can also upload additional attachments here if I need to, and I can download the entire set of documents as a single, what you call a zip file, which is one file that kind of packages up all of the attachments together into one categorized file for you as well. If I do go to reports here, it's worth mentioning as well that you can export out the entire contents of your dashboard, which is your balance sheet and everything under personal details and considerations into a Word file. So if you want that, you can do that too. And down the bottom, you do have access to a matter chronology report and a matter attachments report as well, which will then document all of the attachments, what they were attached to, when they were attached to it, who attached it, into a single Word file as well. Okay.
And as a mediator, just to summarise before we turn over to questions, we may come back to the slide show.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
So how I use it, I've used Family Property for about 20 mediations now, 20 financial mediations, and I'm inviting the client to complete the intake question. I'm using the chatbot on my website. I'm then inviting the clients to complete the questionnaire. They then upload the documents. Sometimes they miss some. That's fine, because it's a really good starting point. I then, in the intake, meet with the clients, have all of that information auto-populated into the dashboard, and then I can start to model proposals in the intake sessions with the clients. And then when we come to that, so the preparation's really done for me, which is great and saves me a lot of time and the clients a lot of time. And then when we come to the actual mediation, I can sit with both parties, and if they have lawyers, the lawyers, and have on my smart board the neutral balance sheet, comparing the balance sheet, the assets, liabilities and superannuation, the identity and the values, looking at where the proposals are. And then I can, when we go into perhaps separate sessions, again, start modelling proposals. What does 50-50 look like? What does 45-45% look like, etc. Then once the parties have reached an agreement, and as we know as mediators, it sometimes takes maybe 10 offers going backwards and forwards in the one room or separate rooms, I then like to bring everyone together, and we can then automatically draft the heads of agreement, the financial effect of the agreement together. And it can be, with a few clicks of the button, can be auto-populated and then amended in Word format and ready for, if it's consent orders, ready for signing, or heads of agreement that they can then take to their lawyers to finalise into the application for consent orders and consent orders. And even now, with the application for consent orders, that's a good start for them to take, to save them time, and time is money when it comes to law. So we might move to questions now. Just in regards to pricing, do you want to just discuss pricing?
Yeah. So you can see that up on the screen. It's always a question, how does this work, and how much does it cost to get started? We've gone with this two price approach, which effectively is an annual subscription of $4.99. That's a one-off payment per year at the firm level. And what that gets you is unlimited firm users, so everyone within your firm can have access to your family property platform. You have unlimited use of the questionnaire, so you can create as many matters as you need to, and take, either use it yourself or invite your clients to complete the questionnaire. And it includes an export as well in Word format of all the information that was captured through that questionnaire. Also covered in that cost per year is just unlimited attachment storage, so you can upload as many attachments as you need to. You can also add your own firm branding, your logo up the top there. You do have full use of that legal chatbot I showed you at the very beginning. If you want to use it, you can add that onto your website too. So that's covered in the annual subscription. Then you can just choose matter by matter, case by case. You can then choose to upgrade the particular matters to access that matter dashboard that I took you through. So with that, you can then start to invite other users to access that particular matter. It may be, for instance, one of the lawyers. You may want to provide visibility to one side of the matter. You can also, you have access to the matter dashboard, which includes the balance sheet feature, the neutral balance sheet, the full attachment portal against all of those items. Again, unlimited attachments against that particular matter. And it gives you full access to all of those reports and documents, and they are customizable as well. You can download our templates as a Microsoft Word file, and then you can upload your own variation of those documents too. So if you want to put your own logo or change around the layout of those documents, you can do that too. So you can really make them your own. So you can just choose to upgrade whichever matters that you would like, but within the firm subscription price, you've certainly got full use of the questionnaire there too. I might just briefly talk around, how does this work? Is it something that I need to install on a computer? Family Property is a fully cloud-based platform, so all you need is an internet connection and a computer, and you can use this. I guess technically, just to touch on a few things, security is a really paramount importance to us. We do use and leverage the Google Cloud infrastructure, and everything is hosted on Australia. We use their Sydney data centre and backed up regionally. Everything's encrypted. It's encrypted using an SSL certificate when you enter the information. When it's sent across the wire to the servers, we encrypt it again before we store it. We then encrypt it when it is stored within the Google infrastructure. So no one has access to your data. We don't have access to it. We also provide, on an individual user account level, we also provide the ability to turn on what you call two-factor authentication. It's probably something you're already using with net banking, but that's basically when it comes to, you come to log in, you put in your email address and your password, you'll then be prompted to put in a one-time unique code each time, which will be a code which will be sent to your mobile phone. So you can enable that on all your accounts. If you do invite your client to complete the questionnaire, they will be asked to create a free account too. That's simply so that we can add that extra layer of security for them. So yes, they can certainly set their own password. They can even turn on two-factor authentication as well. For theirs. So yes, no, it's very secure. We take that very seriously. We do, in order to get started, what we do have is we do have a setup and getting started manual. It is very easy to get started in terms of that. There's no real setup or that you do need to go through or have us do for you. And we do provide a full comprehensive library of training videos that are found under the help section. So you can work your way through them and watch them at any point in time. And they go through all of the detail in family property and how you can really get the most out of it as well. Sorry, I'm just having a look at a couple of the questions there. I just want to make sure that I have answered a few of the questions. We do have a promotion going in March. It is just there on the screen. I'll just quickly talk about. So if you do subscribe in March, so do sign up on that firm subscription there. Yeah, we are offering the first 3 matters free on us. So you can, that's an offer that we're offering. And also a free 1-hour online training session with yours truly. So that's where we'll just connect up over a video session, and we can really dive into a lot of these things and just help you, fully kind of get the most out of family property. So that's also free as part of our launch offer as well. So what we might do is go back to the screen sharing.
And Joanne might ask some questions.
Yeah. So sorry, give me a moment. I'm just going to stop sharing.
Yes, if people would like to put your videos back on, and what do you think? Like, we're looking at quite a sophisticated tool for doing the property mediations.
There we go. Can everyone see us too on our video?
Yep.
Yeah, fantastic. Yep. There we go.
And you might want to just toggle, there's a speaker view or a gallery view, and that lets you see all the people or not. So come on, guys, click on your videos, and so we can see your lovely faces. Hari, it looked like you were just going to say something.
One of the problems that I have being a psychologist is that all data, when it's online or on the cloud, needs to be what they call HIPAA compliant. So I know the first two letters stand for health practitioners. It just gets a rating of HIPAA compliant. And I was wondering whether that covers your product.
From a data storage, accessibility and security point of view, we are right on the shoulders of giants in terms of Google provides that. So Google is certified from a data storage and security and accessibility point of view. That's one of the reasons why we've chosen them as our cloud provider of choice, if you will.
So they're HIPAA compliant, are they?
Yeah.
Okay, well that's good to know.
Yeah,
great.
And it might be helpful to try and, I don't know if there's a certificate or something or other that you might need to make sure that's clear.
Yeah.
Functions or something.
Yeah, we've got some FAQs on our website that do go into security,
cool.
And it does have a link across to a bunch of the documents that Google Cloud provide. All of that information on their infrastructure and their certifications and their policies and processes, you can certainly find from there. So we've got some links if you'd like to have a look at those as well. But more than happy to answer any other questions that you've got around the security and privacy. It is also worth mentioning that we do work alongside the GDPR compliance as well, which is a privacy standard that's been introduced within the European Union and such bodies. So that is around enabling the people to be able to be forgotten, have their information removed, exported, and all of that. So we ensure that you have we conform to that. So you have access to the information, you can download it, you can remove it, you can archive it, and all of those kind of things too.
Oh, excellent. So we've at Mediation Institute, we've been really impressed with the software. So we're going to be incorporating it and using it in our graduate diploma training, and also an upgrade course that we're offering for FDRs that aren't feeling confident in property mediation. And also we'll be using it with Interact support with the not-for-profit for property mediation. So it's very exciting. I haven't done 20 mediations yet with it, so I'm looking for. I'll give you some feedback when I have. But it's great.
Can ask the question here about the questionnaire. Whether it's set as a default for all matters or does it have to be imported each time? So the intake questionnaire is a set questionnaire with 10 steps. Myself and Professor Patrick Parkinson AM have spent a lot of time developing that questionnaire, adapting the family court financial statement and financial questionnaire, and drilling down to the information that is required for a property settlement matter. The chatbot itself can be customised if you want to ask specific questions around property settlement that you want to modify and use yourself. But the questionnaire itself is sort of set questions, unless you're an organisation that wants to, if you want specific customisation for an additional fee.
And you don't have to use the questionnaire. I mean, if you want to create a matter and go straight into the dashboard and the interactive balance sheet and start there, you can certainly do that too. So it's up to you whether you want to use the questionnaire or not, whether you want to invite your client to complete it or whether you want to do it on behalf of your client. That's completely up to you.
And I sometimes go into just the dashboard, and I might have received from the lawyers, if I'm doing a legally assisted mediation, a balance sheet already, and position papers, which are ordered by the court to be provided. So I might have that information and then go straight into dashboard mode and populate that with the information already provided.
Yeah, that's mainly what I've been doing in practice, because we've already got a lot of that information. So you don't have to use the questionnaire to get the data in. You can get it in.
That's right. Yep.
Directly keying as well.
Other questions?
Any questions about the AI and the chatbot that Tim showed right at the beginning, or everyone's right up there with that technology? Old hat, apparently.
So what we're doing is we're offering that if you subscribe in March, the three matters, and we would encourage you to subscribe and then have a go. You can sign up for free. If you subscribe in March, you get those 3 matters. Have a play with Family Property yourself, and then you can book in an online training session that can be really tailored for the questions that you have and how you want to use family property in your organisation. So that can, I think that will be the best way forward on an individual basis.
Right. So just to be clear, people can sign up for Family Property and have a little play before they need to pay $500. Is that?
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. So go to familyproperty.com.au. You can, just register for free, and you've got 14 days that you can try it out. You can also create a full matter, complete with, taking it through to the dashboard and access all of the reports. So you can really give it a good test through there, and you've got 14 days to do that. And at any point in that, you can then just choose to subscribe. It's the option you'll find is there just under my matter setting, my firm settings. You can choose a subscription and just do that online. But yes, the promotion that Fee was mentioning that I showed you on the previous slide is just if you do decide to subscribe your firm up in March, then there's that bonus offer as well. But you do have 14 days that you can try it out for free. So yeah, would love to see you give it a go, and hit me up with any questions and feedback that you might have. You can certainly book in some training if you do want to see anything in a little bit more detail and would like to go through it in more depth with me in March. You can certainly do that too.
And as a mediator, for those of you who've done more parenting mediations, with the family law review, it's due to come out. The family law review, I think, will hopefully make property settlement mediations compulsory, or really encourage parties to try and resolve property settlement matters with the assistance of mediators instead of going to court. So it's really an area of growth, and if you're looking to upskill in property mediations, this is, in our view, a really helpful tool in that it provides guidance and structure and simplifies all of the steps involved from the front end, the middle, and the end. So we're keen to have you on board, and if you've got any questions, feel free to ask us or touch base with Joanne. I know Joanne is going to the National Mediation Conference, and we'll be there as well. And hopefully we'll see a few of you there.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, well, look, I just really wanted to thank you for taking the time to share with us and give us some insights. You're clearly very competent running your way around the software, and I have been practicing with it and using it, and it is really very intuitive to use. So there's not actually a huge learning curve. So thank you once again. Everyone's on mute, so we can't clap you or anything like that. But I'm sure everyone would join me in saying we do appreciate.
Oh, thank you for having us.
No, that's fantastic. I'll just let people know about the other upcoming meetings. We've got our monthly peer group supervision on tomorrow. And I can see that some people have just arrived really at the very end, no doubt with time zone challenges. So welcome, Sharon. We're just finishing up. But we have recorded this. So I'll be putting this up on the website so that people can watch. I also did a mediator musing session with Fiona not very long ago, so there is a recording if you wanted to find out a little bit more about what motivated a lawyer and a mediator to become a techie. We also have our monthly practice development web meetings on the first Tuesday of each month. So people that aren't members of Mediation Institute, I'd like to extend an invitation to come along to one of these and check out what they're like. They're a bit more of it intended as a shared discussion and shared learning opportunity. We've also got a webinar on our family group conference facilitation coming up. And I've just been invited by one of the other presenters at the national conference. He's got a survey of mediators and family lawyers wanting to know about position statements. So if many of you are, I'll just stop the share and paste that in the inbox. So if you wouldn't mind, it's a really quick survey and won't take you very long, like a couple of minutes to do, but it'll help him with his data for his presentation. And as I empathise and with him and encourage you to take a couple of moments. So I've just put that into the chat box. So if you wouldn't mind, you can just copy that from the chat box and paste it into a browser and complete his survey. There's an option for either if you're a mediator or family lawyer. So that's all the announcements from me. Any final comments or thoughts from anyone before we end the session?
Thank you so much, Joanne and the Mediation Institute for having us. We have put the link to Family Property in the chat box.
Beautiful.
And we look forward to, we'll probably touch base with you after this webinar at some stage. And we look forward to receiving your feedback and having you part of the Family Property group, and look forward to working with you further, Joanne. Thanks again for your support.
Excellent. Thank you. Okay, well, goodbye, everyone. I'll
Thank you.
see you again soon. Bye.